In human life, one should perform good deeds. We should treat the people around us with respect. However, the irony of this world is that some people in society take advantage of our goodness. A good person is liked by everyone. From childhood, we are nurtured at home with good thoughts and stories. We are taught in various ways to have good thoughts, do good deeds, and live as good people. But we are not taught how to deal with those who deceive us and take advantage of our sincerity. Knowing that people are exploiting our simplicity and staying silent just to please others ultimately leads to a loss of our self-respect. To what extent is it right to lose our self-respect? Is it right to remain silent when someone takes away the right of a good person to live a simple life? Living as a good person is an ideal. Often, we hear or see people saying, "Look how good that person is." But our goodness must have a limit. Being excessively good beyond necessity does not yield good results in life. It leads to hardships. If we forget this, society constantly reminds us of it. The more good a person is, the more sorrow he experiences in life. Humans give great importance to the feelings of others. Why do people ignore the good deeds we do? Why do people take advantage of us? Sometimes, they take advantage of our simplicity to get their work done, and then they ignore us once the work is done. Wherever we do good, we encounter sorrow. If a good person speaks out of sadness, pain, frustration, anger, or stress, from that moment on, he is labeled as bad. This experience happens in everyone's life. Still, we do not change. Watching with patience, we eventually become tired and might speak out more or less. But people forget all the good deeds and help we have done and latch on to that one word. Being excessively good beyond necessity also yields bad results. This is a very old story. In a city, there was a wealthy man named Somnath. He was a very kind-hearted and generous person. Despite having great wealth, he was humble and charitable. He helped everyone. He had compassion and love for everyone. He could not bear to see others in distress. Some people exploited his goodness. Many times, they would cry fake tears in front of him and borrow money in the form of loans. Somnath, believing their deceitful words, would help them financially. Unable to refuse their colorful lies, he would give them as much money as they asked for. He would think, "This person is going through a bad time now, once things are better tomorrow, they will return the money." But those who borrowed never repaid. Years went by in this manner. People continued to put on acts of crying in front of him, and he continued to help them. Somnath could not bring himself to ask for the money back. As a result, no one repaid him. The elders' saying is true, after day comes night, and after happiness comes sorrow, and vice versa. As Somnath's money dwindled, he had less capital to buy various goods for his business. Because of this, customers who used to come to his shop decreased as well since he didn't have the items they needed. Without money to restock, his financial situation worsened. Over time, all his money was exhausted. At one point, he had been one of the city's most respected wealthy men. But today, he had no money left. Without money, there were no people around him either. Amidst all this, he had to incur a lot of debt. He didn't know what to do. Somnath had heard a lot about Buddha for many days. Many of his friends had received solutions to their problems from Buddha, and after applying those solutions, their lives had improved. Finally, one day, Somnath decided that Buddha might have the right advice for his problems and set out to seek an audience with Lord Buddha. Upon meeting him, Somnath bowed and said, "Great One, I am drowning in a sea of problems. Please tell me the solution to my troubles." Buddha said, "Child, ask what you wish to know." Somnath explained how he had become poor by helping people, how he had shared in their suffering and lent them his business money thinking they were in distress. He lamented that today, when he needed help, no one was there for him. Gautama Buddha, after hearing Somnath's words, said, "Child, you are of a very simple and compassionate nature. However, being excessively simple can also create problems. You helped those who came to you so that they could overcome their difficulties. But those same people took advantage of your simplicity and deceived you. Somnath said, "You are right. I realize now that my simplicity and kindness are the reasons for my sorrow. But, Bhagwan, what should I do now? Show me the way. Should I become a bad person, abandon kindness and compassion, and become ruthless? Is this the reward for doing good in this world?" Buddha replied, "No, you do not need to change who you are. You may have noticed that the more good a person is, the more sorrow they often experience in life. This is because they place great importance on the wishes of others over their own rights. However, when they are not given the respect they deserve, they feel hurt. Never think that doing good or helping others is in vain. You should never abandon your goodness. We must understand that we have the right to stand up for ourselves. We need to protect our rights. Therefore, we should strive to be good while also learning to protect our rights. If someone treats us unfairly or deceives us, we should confront it in the right way. This is the mark of a good person. It is not right to knowingly allow oneself to be deceived." Now Somnath said, "Swamin, I somewhat understand what you are saying, but not completely." To this, Buddha replied, "All right, then I will tell you a story. Listen carefully. After hearing this story, you will understand, and all your doubts will be cleared. You will know what to do." Once, on the edge of a forest, there was a sheep. It gave birth to a beautiful lamb. The lamb was very lovely to look at and had a beautiful coat of wool. The sheep loved its lamb very much and took great care of it. The sheep always told its lamb good things and taught it manners and ethics. It hoped that one day the lamb would grow up and become well known and respected. However, the mother's excessive love made the lamb stubborn. The lamb did not listen to a single word its mother said and paid no attention to her teachings. It believed that no matter what trouble it got into, its mother would always come and save it. Thus, the lamb grew up to be irresponsible and careless. One day, the lamb, while playing, wandered into the nearby forest. It was the first time it had ventured into the forest, and it was amazed by the greenery inside. It had never seen such colorful plants, flowers, and trees before. It felt delighted. Feeling hungry, it started eating the leaves there. The leaves were very tasty. Now, the lamb began going to the forest every day. There, it would eat different kinds of leaves and flowers, play around, and run wildly, trampling and damaging plants and vines. The lamb had no awareness that it was damaging the forest. It would run and jump around, causing harm to the plants and vines. When the mother sheep found out that her lamb was going into the forest, she became worried. She told her lamb, "Child, do not go into the forest. There are wild animals there that will eat you." But her words had no effect on the lamb. It arrogantly replied, "Mother, if anyone troubles me, I will hit them and make them run away like a scared cat." Despite her mother's warnings, the lamb ventured into the forest once again. Her mother's words seemed like falsehoods to her. Like every other day, she pranced, played, and carelessly damaged the plants and vines. She was completely oblivious to her surroundings. On that particular day, a lion happened to be in the forest. The lion was very strong but also very compassionate. It believed that it was not right to harm weaker creatures without reason. To the lion, being strong meant not causing pain to a weaker animal unnecessarily. As the lion wandered through the forest, it came upon the lamb. Seeing the lamb, the lion was surprised. The lion thought, "Why isn't this lamb afraid of the forest animals? Why is it simply damaging the forest plants?" The lion stood observing the lamb's actions for a while. It thought, "In a little while, the lamb will see me and run away in fear." The lion waited for the lamb to notice it and run, but the lamb did not. It remained engrossed in eating the leaves and causing damage. Seeing that the lamb did not react even after spotting it, the lion decided to approach the lamb itself. The lion walked towards the lamb and stood before it. Look, little lamb, you are unnecessarily damaging trees and plants in this forest. This is not good work. Eat only as much as you need. Don't destroy the rest. If you do this, who will call you a good lamb? Your mother hasn't raised you to be a good lamb. Listening to the lion's words, the lamb became arrogant and responded, if you want to become good, you be one. I will remain as I am. This is what I like. I will be as I want to be. The lion didn't know what to say after hearing the lamb's words. It simply considered it a small lamb and left it alone. It didn't seem appropriate to harm a weak lamb. The lion then looked at the lamb and said calmly, "You are indeed a bad lamb. Don't bother me. Just leave from here." Lamb again said, "Don't bother me, let me eat." With that, the lamb moved on from there, leaving the lion behind without fear. At that moment, behind a bush, a fox was listening to the conversations of the lion and the lamb. The fox could not tolerate this insult to the forest king. It went to the lion and said, "Forgive me, your majesty. You are the ruler of this forest. You are powerful. If you wish, you can teach this lamb wisdom in a moment. It could have prevented the humiliation it subjected to you." The lion responded to the fox, "I have thought about that lamb. I didn't want to harm it." Fox said, "This simple act of kindness gave the lamb the opportunity to speak like that. It is benefiting from your simplicity. I know that there is no reason to attack a weak animal, to harm it. But sometimes, according to the law, you have to use force or act in such a way. It is right to treat the subjects kindly. But the subjects should have fear and respect for the king and the law. This prevents them from committing such crimes." The lion listened to the fox's words. It seemed to you that by showing fear to the lamb, you could guide it to the right path. It should improve from it, should not be harmed, and should not become a nuisance to the forest. Can you do that? The fox replied, "Yes, your majesty, I can do that. It should experience fear, should feel pain, and should not return to this part of the forest. I can do that." The fox continued, "Its mother couldn't correct its ways properly. But I will correct it. I will guide it to the right path. If you do that, I will honor you before all the subjects of the forest." Hearing this, the fox was very pleased. The fox approached the lamb forcefully and pinned it down. It pushed it to the ground and held it with its paws. Then, it said, "Tell me, should I kill you, or should I let you go? You have caused great harm to the forest by destroying trees and plants without reason. According to me, I should kill you. That's the forest's justice." Hearing the fox's words, the lamb trembled and started to whimper. It said to the lion, "Forgive me, let me go. I will not return to the forest. I will not harm any trees or plants anymore." The fox, satisfied, loosened it slightly. That was enough, the lamb ran to its mother's side in one go. Meanwhile, the fox came to the lion and said, "Your majesty, you need to use both strength and a little bit of wisdom. That's how people will respect us. We won't gain the respect we deserve just by our strength alone." Hearing the fox's words, the lion was influenced by its wisdom. It accepted the lamb's plea and made it its advisor in front of everyone. At last, the lamb went to its mother in distress. It went and asked forgiveness from its mother. "Mother, I didn't listen to you. You always used to say that there are terrible animals in the forest. From today onwards, I will never go into the forest." Buddha said, "Look, be as good as to not deceive yourself. Just like how one shouldn't be so bad that nobody comes near you. Being much better than necessary brings sorrow to humans. People don't respect such individuals. They call them mad. As much as we are good, many people will take advantage of our goodness. They deceive. You shouldn't stop helping. Listen to their problems and show them the way, but you don't always have to give money. If you have to give, give less than what they ask for. Giving money is not the solution to all problems. You must try to solve it with a solution. If you do this, those who deceive won't come near you. Those who are really in trouble will come to you. Somnath has now understood everything. He bowed to Buddha and expressed his gratitude. After returning to the village, everything happened as Buddha had said. In just a few years, he became prosperous again. Dear listeners, as long as we remain soft until then, people will deceive us. They will take advantage of our good nature. Therefore, we need to set a limit to our goodness. If necessary, we should provide our response. But we shouldn't bow our heads. Until they say, enough, and leave, we will be subjected to harm, won't we? If you like this story, please subscribe and give a thumbs up.